Hello, this video is going to be about going into what everyone is seeking. What everyone really wants, and what people are chasing, and driving around the world looking for, and running around in their cars, and shopping and consuming, or running away from their problems towards, is they're looking for their own deeper peace. And they're looking for their own presence, and they're looking for their own answers. That deeper peace that they seek is one where they sit, and as this deeper peace, there is no story, there is no separate person fighting life. There's just peace, just appearing as everything. The one way to get to this place of peace is with silence. Silence can become the bridge to bring this separate you to a place of peace, where then peace can be seen as everything, including the you. So everyone longs for the opportunity, and they long for those endless moments of just sitting and being. That's it. Just sitting and being. Nothing is being done, yet everything is being done, and everything is being experienced. Sitting and being allows your entire body and mind and heart and soul and all parts of you to come together and sit in the place that everything is. Silence is the one way to bridge the insanity of this world into a place that makes sense, that feels whole. So I wrote some notes on silence. I want to read these to you. So sit in silence and get to know what silence is. Get to know it so well that you realize that you are the silence. You completely are this stillness and the silence. And then once you know yourself as the silence, you can then sense it in everything. You can sense silence within songs. You can sense it between the words I speak. And you can sense it threading into the words and the tones that I speak. So get to know silence so that you can sense it everywhere. While you're sensing silence, you'll notice that there's no you in the silence. There's just silence. And it feels amazing. And if objects appear, when objects appear and you're noticing silence, look at those objects. These objects can be people, they can be cars moving, it can be trees or things like that. So when you look at these objects, look for the silence threading through them. Look at the field of silence and stillness appearing as everything. Because everything appears from and is in and of stillness and silence. So noticing silence is going to be the bridge that carries you from the illusion of a dream that you've been dreaming. It will carry you from the matrix into what you've been seeking, which is wholeness, stillness, silence. So how do you live? How do we live? So you've sat a little bit in silence. You see, there it is, but it's only there when I stop and meditate. How do I do this? All the time. The way this is done is you go about your chores. But as you go about them, you just notice and ask, what is here? You sense stillness and silence appearing as everything. It can appear as a you pumping gas. Just there. While you're doing this, just notice the stillness and silence everywhere as that task is being done. You realize that, well, if I am this stillness and silence, and everything is this stillness and silence, then where is there to go? If I go anywhere, is there going to be something different? No, it's going to be still stillness and silence at one end of the road or the other end of the road. It's the same silence that's there. And during the trip, the same silence. So where can I go? Where can I go then, you ask? And my answer would be everywhere. Because you'll always be at home. It's in every place. Silence is every place, and it's even in chaos. And you wonder, well, then how can silence be in chaos? Look. Observe it. And notice that it is everything. So living in silence does not mean you're sitting and doing nothing. It means that while you're doing things, you're noticing stillness and silence. You notice the silence in the music. And that makes the notes whole and complete. Even if they're bad sounding notes, they're fully holy, sounding something that is not to your liking. And even not to your liking, the thought patterns of not to your liking, or any thought patterns, are wholeness and are silence too. So how do you then go through the day if you're thinking a lot? Let's say you're thinking. There's two ways of thinking. You can think as a separate Mike character, like this, which is like a separate concentrated form of energy, or your name, where you're thinking about stories and you're telling stories. And each one of these stories affects the flavor of the separate individual. And most of the time it's going to cause suffering, pain, discomfort, dis-ease, diseases. So if you're thinking along those lines to better the person, then what you're going to be experiencing is suffering. The purpose of the suffering is to stop you from that sort of behavior, so that you think as an expression. Your thoughts then become a flow of thoughts, a flow of expressions from the heart. Just a few thoughts. They'll come along, and they could be thoughts such as, I'm going to walk in the woods. You honor that and you just start walking. Thoughts of, I'm going to stop and sit in silence. You feel and you sense all of these thoughts as expressions of silence. These thoughts are alive with divinity and grace, versus alive with fear and trying to get to someplace. So, return to silence. Return to your true self. To do this takes nothing. You stop, and it appears and greets you, envelops you, covers you, and you marinate in this for a long time. As you go about your day, just allow it to marinate in all aspects of your day. And then you'll find your day is full and whole and complete, and is joy. Thank you.